What's up? It is the number one travel junkie coming at you. Hey, look, check this out. I want to talk to you about credit cards. Now, let me preface this by saying there's no one better card to get. I don't work for a credit card company, so don't come look at me if you get a credit card and it doesn't work for you. I'm just putting some science out there about the different credit cards and what might be best for you. So let's talk about credit cards. We all know when it comes to travel, there are a lot of cards out there, financial institutions that push cards that kind of help you when it comes to travel in terms of perks, getting points, getting miles, points that can be interchanged for airlines as well as hotels and things like that. You don't get anything standard at Airbnb. That's a tip. That's another video. But this one, we're going to talk about credit cards and the different credit cards, right? So as you know, Amex has a suite of credit cards out there. Some of them are co-branded, some of them are non-co-branded. When I say co-branded, what do I mean? All right, so you know Amex has partnership with Delta. So they have a lot of credit cards where they have like a Delta Platinum, American Express, a Delta Gold, American Express, Sky Miles, or the Delta Reserve cards. So those are what's called co-branded cards. And they have no non-co-branded cards, which are just the American Express Gold or the American Express Platinum and other American Expresses that are not tied to like a hotel or airline. That was just an example. All right. So that's Amex. Then also you have another good travel credit card is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. People love that card for the flexibility that you can get with that card. So the Chase Sapphire card, you have the ability to transfer those points to, I believe it's like 11 different airlines. It could be wrong, but I'm just putting it out there for you to go research. So that's one of the reasons why people love the Chase Sapphire Preferred, because you can take those points and just transfer them to a plethora of airlines out there, as well as hotels when I'm talking about airlines, and I'll get to the hotels, all right? Then you have another card that's relatively new on the scene. The Capital One Venture X came out about maybe 2-3 years ago or something like that. Again, I could be wrong, but it's up to you to do your research. That Capital One Venture X card is very nice as well too. Same thing. You have the ability to transfer those points to a lot of different airlines. I think in upwards of 13 airlines or more. Again, I could be wrong. Do your own research. As well as a plethora of hotels. So those are 3 cards. Amex has a card, the Amex Gold, not the Delta Gold Sky Miles, but just the regular Amex Gold. That card is pretty cool too, because you can rack up a lot of points with that one, and then you can transfer them points pretty much to any airline, about 19 different airlines. Again, I'm not certain, do your own research, and a plethora of hotels as well too. And one good thing is, let's say you're online and you're trying to look for a flight and you need some extra miles and you want to transfer them over to a different airline. A lot of the airlines, it's instant. It's 1-for-1 and it's instant. So for example, let's say if you have 100,000 points with the Amex Business Gold, or 100,000 points with the Chase Sapphire, or 100,000 points with the Capital One Venture X. You can go to an airline and you can or you can do it right there from one of their portals, or you can call the airline and they'll walk you through it. And you can go to their portal, respective, credit card portal, and you can transfer those points 1-for-1 over to an airline. So that means if you have 100,000 points, you transfer them over to United or something like that, you now have 100,000 Sky Miles. That's huge. And it's instant. So the minute you hit enter, go back into your airline portal, refresh it, whichever airline you chose, refresh it, the miles pop right up. They're there for you to use. So that's huge. Now, the reason why I bought up those cards, because when it comes to credit cards, guys, there's no one credit card fits all. Anytime you're searching for a travel credit card, you need to do your research. And there's a lot that you need to put into it. It's not just, let me go online, let me read one blog, or let me look at one social media post, boom, that's the card for me. No, you got to do a little more research than that, and here's why I say that. A lot of times people say, oh, I want to get the Amex Platinum card so I can get into a Centurion Lounge. Cool, because we know it's a lot of Centurion Lounges around the globe, as well as in the States. Not more in the States than it is around the globe, but it's enough, right? Well, here's the thing. Let's say you go get a Amex Platinum and you want to get into the Centurion Lounge, but then you live in a city like Charlotte, North Carolina, and then you like Delta. Well, as you know, every time you try and go somewhere internationally, Charlotte is going to route you through Atlanta. That might help now because Atlanta just got a Amex Platinum Lounge about a year ago. But prior to that, there was no Platinum Lounge in Atlanta. So a lot of people that went and got the Platinum card, well, a lot of your routes were Atlanta, and then you would go international, but you would go into places that didn't even have an Amex Centurion Lounge. So it kind of didn't make sense to have that card because you wanted lounge access, because you weren't going anywhere that had that lounge. But now that they put that new lounge in Atlanta, maybe that may help you. So that's just an example. Here's another example. Let's just say if you live in a city that doesn't have a Capital One Venture X lounge. Might not make sense for you to get that Venture X card if your sole reason is getting it so you can get into the lounges. And again, there are different reasons for getting it. But if your sole reason is to get it just so you can get into a lounge, you might want to do some more research because that might not be the card for you. Same thing with the Chase card. Now I do know in JFK there's a Chase lounge. I do know in DFW there's a Capital One X lounge. And in Atlanta they have a Amex lounge, and DFW has an Amex lounge as well too. Now let's talk about that Capital One Venture X lounge in DFW real quick. That thing is so swanky. Let me tell you, the first time I went in there, they had like these sweets. I don't even know what they were called. And I typically don't eat sweets, but I had to get a couple of these things because they were delicious. The bar is fantastic. The view is nice. The ambiance is great. But here's the kicker. With that Capital One X lounge in DFW, they have a full-fledged gym in the lounge, complete with Peloton bikes. They even have prayer rooms, meditation rooms, nursing rooms. They got all types of rooms for you just to kind of go in there and chill. So that lounge is pretty nice. So if you ever get a chance and you're connected through DFW or you're originating out of DFW, check out that Capital One X lounge. It is fantastic. And obviously you have to have the Capital One Venture X card to be able to get in there, or they'll tax you. And unfortunately, I don't know what the tax is, but you can look that up yourself. I'm just here to help you start the process in terms of researching. So again, when it comes to credit cards, think about a credit card that's best for you based on what you're trying to do. Whether I'm trying to get global entry, whether I'm trying to get TSA pre-check, whether I'm trying to get lounge access, or whether I'm just trying to, get points so I can fly on my favorite airlines that comes out of this airport, whether it's ORD, DFW, ATL, JFK, wherever you may be, LAX. So those are some of the things that you need to think about when you're searching for a travel credit card. And again, unfortunately, there's no one card fits all. You're going to have to do some research and try and choose the one that's best for you. All right? Travel Junkie out.